Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome back if you're a long time viewer, although it can't be that long because I'm still a pretty new channel. But thank you either way for tuning in. I'm Lindsay and this is Lindsay's Loves, Plants, Rants, and so much more. And this is definitely a combination of plants and rants because I have to talk to you about these orchids. There's nothing wrong with these orchids. These orchids are beautiful, in fact. But what I'm a bit upset about is the instructions they came with. So, we need to talk about just add ice orchids. And this is my opinion, okay? Because obviously, let me point out that they have 4.4 out of 5 stars out of many reviews. So obviously lots of people are happy and satisfied with these orchids. But I am deeply disturbed by the idea that we are presenting to people this. Just add ice. Just add 3 cubes once a week. And why am I so upset about this? Well, because this is not how I would ever recommend that you water any plant ever. First of all, ice. Using ice on plants that naturally live in a warm climate that would probably never even experience a cold rainfall, and putting ice on their roots could be deeply damaging. I don't see the benefit to using the ice, certainly from the plant's perspective. It's sort of like a fun party trick with your plant and an easy care method of caring for your orchid. But in reality, it could be extremely detrimental to the roots. So we've talked about the cold being an issue. For me, that is kind of the bigger problem because perhaps if you were measuring out the amount of water that they say that 3 ice cubes is equivalent to, 1/4 of a cup of water every week, perhaps that would be the right amount to water them. However, that's not how I take care of any of my plants, and it's how I took care of my plants when I was killing them. Offering your plants a consistent watering cycle is a pretty good way to start getting root rot. What you want to do is be actually inspecting the plant. You can learn the weight of the plant when it's wet or dry. You can, and let me see which one. Oh, this one pops out easily. Good. You can inspect the roots and the pot that it's in for other signs of moisture. So you can see right there that this pot has some signs like condensation on the edges. You can also see that the roots look nice and green. Now I did water this orchid when I got it because I checked. I lifted up the pot. You can kind of see a little bit there how they're a little bit more silver than green. So when they're nice and green and healthy and well watered, you don't need to put any more liquid in here at all. And when they are dry and silver, you could add a bit of water. So that's how you, in my opinion, should take care of an orchid, not by just putting 3 ice cubes in every Friday consistently without checking, without thinking. Here's the thing. In theory, every plant would take different amount of water based on the lighting conditions and the growing season. So I believe that the orchid may actually be a bit confusing, and I have just gotten these plants, so I can't be called an expert at all, but I believe that they may be a bit backwards. When they aren't flowering, they take more water because they're working on plant growth, root growth, etc. And when they are flowering, they may need less in theory. But like seriously, don't quote me on that because I could be totally getting it wrong. But what I can tell you for sure is that the light that they're receiving is going to impact how much water they're going to need. So just in a climate where we go from many hours of sunlight during the summer to very few hours of sunlight during the winter up here in Canada, I cannot support the idea that you would be watering any plant the same amount all through the year consistently like that. In my experience, that's just not going to work out. But again, it obviously works for some people because they have great reviews. So this is just my opinion and why I think that personally I will never water them this way. And I would recommend that if you're the type of person who's watching these videos, that you care enough to water them properly as well. So I use warm water for mine. So I shouldn't say warm water because it's really room temperature. A lot of plants I use distilled water for. It just kind of depends on the plant's needs. And some of them I just use tap water for. In this case, I did use distilled water for the orchids. I poured it through the orchid bark as well as letting it just sort of sit in a little tub afterwards just to make sure it was rehydrated because those roots did look very wrinkly, very gray. So you can actually see what they look like when they're dry because this one has one sticking right out. So if it's looking that dry underneath, and that's what's nice about those clear growers pots, you would definitely want to water it. So that one is fine underneath. It's just very hard to pull that pot out. For some reason, it's a bit of a tighter, snugger fit in the cover pot itself. So yeah, I guess that's my my problem with these ice cube orchids, and I think that you should avoid treating them that way. I am not saying avoid buying them because obviously I bought them. So like buy the orchid, love the orchid, but like you're here watching YouTube videos about how to care for plants. You can do better than that, and I have faith in you. So check on the roots, give them like room temperature water like they would get in nature, and I think you'll have much happier, healthier plants overall. Plants that will love you and bloom for you again and again and again. So, and don't forget fertilizer, although I'm not going to get into that here because again, I am still very new to it. So I don't know what I want to recommend for you yet, but just keep in mind that plants need food and fertilizer. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe. Don't forget to check out my giveaway if you haven't already, assuming you're watching this video relatively soon to the time it's released and the giveaway is still open. If it's not, you can stay tuned for the next one by subscribing, of course, and then you won't miss out next time. So thank you everyone. Thank you very much for watching, especially if you watched all the way to the end, gave it a thumbs up, commented, liked, everything. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Have a good day everyone. Bye-bye.